Remember the first time you saw that dazzling spin, those gleaming bracelets, and that jazzy theme song that made you believe, just for a second, you too could deflect bullets in knee-high boots? It was 1975, and Wonder Woman had just landed on ABC, starring the unforgettable Linda Carter as Diana Prince, Amazonian demigoddess, undercover military secretary, and the ultimate 1970s superhero. She didn't just fight villains, she twirled into the hearts of a generation. For 3 seasons, she battled bad guys, giant robots, and the occasional questionable prop, all while redefining what it meant to be a TV heroine. So, grab your tiara, polish up that invisible jet, and join us as we count down 15 glorious facts about the classic Wonder Woman TV show, from wild behind-the-scenes secrets to the moments that made television history. 15. The spin wasn't in the comics. That famous twirl, arms out, hair flying, a flash of light, and suddenly Diana Prince was Wonder Woman, wasn't in the comics at all. In fact, it wasn't even in the original scripts. When production began, the team still had no clue how Diana should transform on screen. The initial plan, a simple cut between before and after shots. But Linda Carter thought it looked clunky and unmagical, so she suggested something more graceful, something that felt like a transformation, not a quick change. Her solution was the now iconic spin. Early episodes kept it simple. No explosion, no glow, just Carter turning slowly in place. She'd still have to hide her civilian clothes somewhere afterward, which, let's be honest, kind of killed the mystique. Eventually, the producers added the golden burst mid-spin and dropped the "where do we stash the skirt" problem. The result? Pure TV magic. So iconic that DC Comics later added it to Wonder Woman's official lore. Linda Carter didn't just wear the tiara, she rewrote history by spinning into it. 14. Wonder Woman changed networks and centuries. In its first season, Wonder Woman was all about the 1940s. Golden lasso in hand, Nazis to punch, and a full wartime wardrobe of military uniforms and vintage planes. Audiences loved it, but ABC didn't love the price tag. Recreating the World War II era wasn't cheap, and patriotism, as it turned out, came with a hefty production budget. So ABC passed on a second season. Enter CBS, who had a cheaper idea. Skip the 1940s and bring Wonder Woman into the modern 1970s. Suddenly, Diana Prince was working for the IADC, chasing criminals with gadgets that looked suspiciously like Radio Shack clearance items. And Steve Trevor? He was now Steve Trevor Jr., played by the same actor because genetics? TV logic? Let's just call it both. The update was brighter, flashier, and more disco-friendly. CBS gave Linda Carter 2 more seasons to twirl, pose, and save the day, this time under strobe lights instead of searchlights. 13. The theme song was written in 48 hours. That brassy, foot-tapping Wonder Woman theme, the one that somehow managed to rhyme satin tights with "fighting for our rights," it was whipped up in less than 2 days. Composer Charles Fox and lyricist Norman Gimbel squeezed it in between other projects, tossing together a jazzy, patriotic disco anthem that sounded like a pep rally with a horn section. John Baylor handled the main vocals, with Marty McCall, Carolyn Willis, and Julia Waters backing him up. Season 1's lyrics name-dropped World War II, keeping things era-accurate. But when CBS jumped to the 70s, the war references got cut, the arrangement modernized, and midway through Season 2, the vocals were swapped for a shiny synthesizer, because in the 70s, nothing said "cutting edge" like a Casio. By Season 3, Baller was back solo with a slick new arrangement. And yes, someone even made a disco remix in 1978, because of course they did. 12. Those bullet-blocking bracelets were literally fire. They weren't just shiny costume jewelry, those bracelets could actually spark. In Season 1, set during World War II, Diana wore silver-toned cuffs that matched her classic comic look. When the show moved to the groovier 1970s on CBS, they got an upgrade to sleek gold, fitting the brighter, flashier vibe. But the real magic was in the stunt work. Each bracelet was rigged with tiny pyrotechnic charges. Linda Carter had a hidden remote in her palm, and with a well-timed tap, bang! Sparks flew as a bullet ricocheted. No CGI, no post-production trickery, just practical effects, good timing, and a lot of trust in the props team. Every time you saw her deflecting bullets, you were watching carefully choreographed firepower happening right there on set. On screen, it looked effortless. Off screen, it was equal parts stunt precision and mild explosives. 11. The invisible jet. CBS made it worse. Wonder Woman's jet might have been invisible in-universe, but the props department had a harder time selling that illusion. In Season 1, ABC's version used a toy model, sure, but with clever lighting and camera angles, it felt just believable enough. Then CBS took over, and subtlety flew right out the cockpit. Suddenly, we had a plastic jet shaped like a mini Concorde, dangling on a string, with an obvious doll version of Wonder Woman sitting inside. Sometimes Steve Trevor Jr. was in there too, like they were off to Malibu for a weekend. It looked more like a carnival prize than cutting-edge Amazonian tech. And yet, somehow, Linda Carter sold it. Whether she was in the jet or just pretending to be, she made us believe, even when the budget didn't. 10. Wonder Woman. Had a star-spangled wetsuit crime doesn't stop for bad weather or underwater chases. When Diana Prince had to take the fight beneath the waves, she did it in a custom star-spangled wetsuit. Costume designer Don Feld originally made a patriotic bikini for Linda Carter, but it didn't hold up during filming and risked some very non-heroic wardrobe malfunctions. The fix? A sleek blue wetsuit dotted with white stars, practical, streamlined, and still photo shoot ready. It wasn't on screen often, but when it was, it reminded us that Wonder Woman didn't just adapt to any villain. She adapted to any environment too. Scuba mask or not, Carter still looked ready for a Vogue cover. 9. Wonder Woman had 3 moms. Sort of. If Queen Hippolyta looked a little different every time she appeared, you're not imagining things. 3 different actresses played Diana's mother. First came Cloris Leachman in the 1975 pilot, regal and confident, fresh off her Oscar win. Then Carolyn Jones, yes, Morticia Addams herself, took over later in Season 1, bringing a touch of spooky elegance to Paradise Island. By Season 2, Beatrice Straight stepped into the role, just after winning her own Academy Award. It's a wild casting streak, 2 Oscar winners and 1 Oscar nominee, all portraying the same queen. Not bad for a show that sometimes used a plastic toy jet on a string. Clearly, the special effects budget wasn't Olympus level, but the casting department? They were aiming straight for Mount Olympus itself. 8. The skirt, the cape, and the drama. When Linda Carter spun into Wonder Woman, she didn't just get one costume, she got a whole wardrobe. In Season 1, Diana sometimes traded her classic shorts for a star-spangled skirt, usually in diplomatic or ceremonial scenes. Think superhero business casual, perfect for peace talks, not so much for chasing bad guys. And then there was the cape, full red, white, and blue, fluttering dramatically whenever Wonder Woman made an entrance or a landing. It wasn't just for show. On set, it also helped disguise stunt double swaps mid-scene. When the show moved to CBS and the modern-day setting, the skirt quietly vanished, but the cape made occasional comebacks. Part fashion statement, part practical tool. It proved that even superheroes know the power of a well-timed accessory. 7. Yes, Wonder Woman could sing. Before she was deflecting bullets in satin tights, Linda Carter was on stage with a microphone. In high school, she fronted a band called The Relatives, with Gary Berghoff, Radar from MASH on drums. Yes, Wonder Woman and Radar, in the same band. She later toured with the Garfin Gathering and, right in the middle of Wonder Woman's TV fame, released her first solo album, Portrait, in 1978. Her smooth, soulful voice led to more albums over the years, like At Last Crazy Little Things, and Red, Rockin' Blues. Carter also headlined musical TV specials, including Linda Carter Celebration in 1981, which won her an Emmy. She even lent her singing talents to Fallout 4, yes, the video game, and hit the West End stage in Chicago. Turns out, she could not only save the world, she could bring down the house. 6. Linda Carter wasn't the first Wonder Woman on TV. A year before Linda Carter's debut, ABC tried out a very different Wonder Woman in a 1974 made-for-TV movie. This version, played by Kathy Lee Crosby, had no tiara, no superpowers, and no magic lasso. Instead, she wore a red and blue tracksuit and worked as a government agent with a vague sense of justice. The look? More 4th of July jogger than superhero. The story? Loosely based on a short-lived comic book era where Wonder Woman gave up her powers. The ratings were fine, but fans weren't exactly dazzled. So ABC went back to the drawing board, hired Carter, brought back the powers and costume, and launched the new original Wonder Woman in 1975. It was essentially ABC saying, "Okay, we swear we got it right this time." And they did. 5. Wonder Woman had a little sister who became an Oscar nominee. Before Deborah Winger was winning critical acclaim in Terms of Endearment, or making Richard Gere fall for her in An Officer and a Gentleman, she was Wonder Woman's kid sister. In 3 season 1 episodes, The Feminine Mystique Parts 1 and 2, and Wonder Woman in Hollywood, Winger played Drusilla, better known as Wonder Girl. She had the tiara, the lasso, and just enough wide-eyed energy to make you wonder if Paradise Island offered freshman orientation. It was one of her earliest roles, right after her film debut in Slumber Party 57. While the part helped launch her career, Winger turned down a Wonder Girl spin-off, worried about being typecast. Smart move. She had bigger things ahead, proving you can go from Amazon sidekick to Hollywood royalty in just a few years. 4. Linda Carter did many of her own stunts. Sure, Wonder Woman had stunt doubles. Jeannie Epper and Kim Renee handled the more dangerous leaps, falls, and brawls. But Linda Carter wasn't content to just stand back and watch. Thanks to her ballet training, she had the grace, timing, and control to make fight scenes look almost like choreographed dance. She'd leap over obstacles, spin into kicks, and land with perfect superhero poise, all in high-heeled boots. One of her boldest moments came in Season 2. The script called for Wonder Woman to grab onto the skid of a helicopter as it lifted into the air. The stunt double was clearly visible in early takes, so Carter decided to do it herself. No harness, no safety net. She grabbed the skid, held on as the chopper rose over a canyon, and nailed the shot. The studio freaked out, but the footage was so good it made it into the opening credits. Turns out, Wonder Woman fought for justice, and for the perfect take. 3. Linda Carter was cast after only a year of acting. Before she became TV's definitive Amazonian warrior, Linda Carter's acting resume was barely a page long. Her biggest credit? A single guest spot on a short-lived 1974 cop show called Nakia. She'd been acting for less than a year when she auditioned for Wonder Woman, competing against hundreds of more experienced actresses, including a few film stars. So why did she get the role? Executive producer Douglas S. Kramer put it simply, she didn't just look like Wonder Woman, she was Wonder Woman. Carter had the poise, the warmth, and the kind of presence that made spinning in a circle to change outfits seem like a legitimate crime-fighting technique. Her screen test wowed the network, and just like that, she went from near unknown to cultural icon in a single season. Proof that sometimes the tiara really does choose the wearer. 2. Wonder Woman's soft reboot and softer cancellation. By the end of Season 3, Wonder Woman was quietly testing out a reboot. Diana Prince suddenly worked out of Los Angeles with a new boss, Dale Hawthorne, and a new partner, Brett Cassidy, played by Olympic gold medalist Bob Seagren. Brett wasn't just another IADC agent. He was genetically enhanced, indestructible, and seemingly bulletproof. It felt like the show was grooming him to be a co-lead or even replace Steve Trevor Jr. altogether. Episodes like the two-parter The Phantom of the Roller Coaster had a pilot season feel, almost as if CBS was sneaking in a new version of Wonder Woman under our noses, but ratings were slipping, and a super sidekick wasn't enough to reverse the trend. CBS aired the final episodes out of order. The reboot quietly fizzled, and the show vanished from the schedule. No grand finale, no last battle, just an Amazon fading into syndicated reruns. 1. Linda Carter's triumphant cameo in Wonder Woman, 1984. Just when fans thought Linda Carter had hung up the golden lasso for good, she returned, in true Amazonian style. In a mid-credits scene of Wonder Woman 1984, a mysterious woman in a flowing blue cloak rescues a child from falling debris. When the child's mother thanks her, she introduces herself. Asteria, the legendary Amazon warrior mentioned earlier in the film, said to have once held off an entire army so her sisters could escape. It wasn't Diana Prince, but it was a perfect wink to the audience. Carter, the original TV Wonder Woman, now played the mythic hero who came before her. It was more than a cameo, it was a coronation, a moment that bridged generations of fans, reminding us that you don't need CGI or billion-dollar effects to embody Wonder Woman. Sometimes all it takes is presence, poise, and decades of being that woman. For 3 unforgettable seasons, Wonder Woman spun her way into living rooms, blending superhero spectacle with 1970s charm. From bullet-sparking bracelets to a plastic, invisible jet, the show wasn't always polished, but it was always full of heart. And at the center of it all was Linda Carter, who didn't just play Wonder Woman. She was Wonder Woman, on and off the screen. These 15 behind-the-scenes gems remind us why the series still inspires smiles, cosplay, and the occasional living room spin nearly 5 decades later. It wasn't just about defeating bad guys. It was about showing that strength, grace, and a bit of sparkle could change the world. So here's to satin tights, golden lassos, and the magic of TV history. If you enjoyed this trip down memory lane, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe for more classic TV deep dives, and tap that notification bell so you never miss an episode.